back to another episode of Good News Glynn. We're excited this month, in the month of December, to have Mr. Bill Fallon. How are you?
Great. How about you, Avery? How's everything going this December?
Going well, yes. So got through Thanksgiving, and now December's been quite busy. I know it has for you at the county. So tell us about what's been going on.
Yeah, we've had a lot of good stuff actually in the last couple of weeks at the county. We had the Christmas tree lighting over on St. Simon's, which gets better every year. And so that's the tree that's down at the end of Mallory that you can see right from the village. So we probably had a couple hundred people that were out there that night, which was really good. And so we're going to keep making that better. A couple other events too. We had Santa Paws, so people brought their dogs down to take pictures with Santa last Thursday. Friday we had holiday cinema for kids out there at the casino, and then actually Saturday we also had the Jingle Jangle Gullah Geechee Christmas at Selden Park. So a lot of holiday activities that have been happening here in the last couple of weeks.
Yes, it's such a fun time of year. Maybe we should just take the month off and and just enjoy, right?
Yeah, no, we're doing plenty of work too. So that's all after hours for the most part for us.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, it's a great time of year. Obviously, there's a lot going on. We have the city parade on the 13th, Saturday the 13th. So several of our commissioners will be riding in the county float that we put together. So we're looking forward to that. And then just the rest of the month with a lot of good fun stuff that we're doing.
That's awesome. Yes, a lot of fun to look forward to. Great time of year. So this month, we're actually going to be talking about ordinances and planning and zoning with Stephanie and, of course, Commissioner Rafolski. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. And they have really taken the reins on that, including the chairman. The chairman actually was part of really just a work group that we had put together with some citizens that we have, some planning commissioners as well. But really, it was just some volunteers that we had in the community, plus our staff that have been looking at the zoning rewrite for a good 2 years. And it's been a lot of time. I think we're close. It's going to be it's really going to be a living document too. So we know that we're going to have to make changes. And so once we finally get done with it, once we finally get done with some of our public meetings that we have scheduled, which are this in December as well. Once we get it to the planning commissions for them to take a look at, once we get it published and get it approved by the commissioners, we realize there's going to be things in there that we probably that are going to come up just like they do now. We have ordinances that we change now, but this one is long overdue. It's over 60 years since we updated our ordinances, and so there's quite a bit to it. It's a total rewrite, so it's pretty lengthy, but they'll talk a little bit more to it. But I can't thank the chairman, Stephanie. We had John Gentry, who was the former assistant county manager. We also had Danny Smith, who's kind of taken that on as a project now as our current assistant county manager, and then just some of the other staff that we have, and then some of the other volunteers that we've had. It's been a long journey, and hopefully we're almost there.
Yeah, and I like that you said they've rewritten it. It's ready to be presented to the public, yet it is a living document. They can tweak and change if needed according to feedback. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, we're probably gonna give it about 6 months, and we're just gonna have, our staff has been great. They're going to take section by section, and then as we have some changes that are recommended over the next 6 months, we're actually gonna take those and then come back to the board in 6 months' time. Once it's approved, 6 months later, we'll come back to the board with some recommended changes for them to consider as well.
That's great. Is there any one ordinance that's super significant that you want to talk about, or is it just sort of generally everything?
Yeah, there's quite a bit to it. I'm sure the chairman and Stephanie Leaf will talk to some of the specifics. They've actually had a lot of good comments too. We've gotten a lot of great comments from the public and from the planning commission. So it's they can talk to it a lot better than I can. So I'll save it for them. They can fill you in on some of the specifics.
Okay, excellent. So what else do you want to touch on for this month?
Well, yeah, we've had we actually just had a great weekend for the Glynn County Fire Rescue. We have 12 vacancies right now, so they actually had a career day on Saturday We had 16 applicants that came out. They have to take a written test on Saturday. They have to take a physical exam, which we got from 16 down to 11 that are moving forward for interviews. So a lot of good candidates out there, but we want to get the right ones as well. So that's why we're going to, keep doing this and hire the right people. But we're really excited about the amount of, activity or the amount of interest that's actually out there from people that want to become work for us at Glynn County Fire and Rescue. So that was a big event that we had on Saturday. We also had I talked a little bit about it, but since we talked last, we had the SPLOST QER, the quarterly execution reviews. Those went well. All the projects are doing great. Again, everything's on the website. We posted everything we had. That the QER was actually recorded, so anybody can watch it. A couple of highlights there. We also had a couple. One that we are working on now is Old Jessup Road. So there's some improvements there. We widened certain sections of Old Jessup Road. There's actually 5 different phases to that project. But the one that's related to SPLOST, we're getting ready to hopefully be able to kick off here just after the first of the year with some improvements out between Walker and Scranton Road. So that's going to be a big improvement for that street out there. And then a couple other projects that we're working on. I think we talked a little bit about the East Beach project and the sloughs that we have out there. So had some good meetings with DNR, and we're going to be reaching out to U.S. Fish and Wildlife and also to the Army Corps of Engineers, and hopefully get that permit here in the next few months to be able to start that work out there, which is long overdue as well.
Right. So I would imagine the goal would be to have that ready for summer, if possible.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. There's a lot that changes out there, and so the permitting process was a little bit. We had to go back to the drawing board because of some of the developments with some of the wetlands that have developed out there, plus some habitat issues that we have. But working through those again with DNR, they're very they're pretty optimistic that we're going to be able to get our permits in place. However, we're probably going to put in a boardwalk, which we had planned all along at Driftwood. So that's one area where it's very difficult to get from the public access point and some of those condo associations that are out there, those developments out there. So they'll all be tied together, have a boardwalk to get us out to the beach. That'll be wide enough for us to have our safety vehicles and everything else that we need. So that's going to be step 1. And then step 2 will be looking at those sloughs and filling those in, filling the one in that's closest to Massingale with that project. But we might not be able to get that one done by the summer. But it's all going to be based on DNR permitting.
Yeah, lot of hoops to go through before you can actually get it done. But it sounds like you've got a great plan in place and things are moving forward.
Yeah, we have our chamber and our Convention and Visitors Bureau very engaged in that project as well. I mean, that's really, people come here and we have the economy is helped out quite a bit by the tourism, and we want to make sure that we have access to the beach, not only for the tourists but also we really need it for our safety vehicles as well, to be able to make sure that the public is safe when they're out there on the beach.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I like that you said the boardwalk is going to be big enough for vehicles as well. So, I mean, that's good planning. You don't want to just rush and build a narrow boardwalk that only people can go on. So that's great to hear. Yeah. So those are a few things going on, and then January it's back, right back at it. We'll get the commissioners together and come up with. We'll probably have a couple of meetings where we talk about some of their priorities that they have for the coming year in 2026. We'll start looking at some bigger projects to start focusing on for maybe a future SPLOST. And so there's just a lot. There's a lot. We have quite a list of infrastructure needs that we have right now, both with as far as draining goes. Traffic, road improvements, other safety type projects that we have. And so the way that we look at it is what the county needs, not what the county wants. And so that's what we're going to be focusing on, and what we need, not only for now, but to be successful in the future. So that's going to all start happening in January, and we're looking forward to that. Great. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a fun December, a great way to wrap up the year with some of these fun events, and then starting fresh in the new year with continuing the projects, but also some new as well. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, it's like I said, I say it every month. There's just so much going on. It's but it is. There's a lot of activity going on, and we're happy with all the progress that we're making. And again, our staff is just fantastic, and hopefully everybody that works for Glynn County, everybody that we work with, and everybody in the community has a great Christmas, has a great New Year's, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody again next month.
Yes, that sounds great. Well, thank you for your time today, and we look forward to the interviews with the chairman and Stephanie coming up next.
All right, great. Thank you, Avery.
Thank you. Stay tuned for more Golden Isles TV. Coming up next. Welcome to another episode of Good News Glynn. We're so excited to have Stephanie Leaf and Walter Rafolski. We're so glad to have you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Great to be here.
Good. Yes. So as I said, this is the month of December. And of course, we just had Thanksgiving. We're rolling into the holidays. So first, let's talk about what's going on now. And then we'll get to some other things later.
We have projects that we have completed. You know, Dungeness, we're just about complete on, we are complete on Canal Road, and the McKenzie to Prater loop, that's all that's left to do on it is stripe it. I think we have done a great job this year in moving the county along. We have excellent staff. This is one right here, the planning manager, and we have, you know, Mr. Fallon. We have a good team. So I think right now we're in a really good place, and we need to move along with the ordinance rewrite. As bad as some people don't want it, it's something we need to finish it and move on.
Yes. Well, yes. Let's start with that. Ordinances. People are upset that they haven't been rewritten, and now we're going to rewrite them. So talk about that a little bit, Stephanie.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, happy to talk about that. So this is a project that's been going on for a few years. So it's definitely something that's been part of our community for a good bit. It's a very important project. Our zoning ordinances and subdivision regulations really haven't been rewritten since 60s, 70s, and the early 80s. There was a big rewrite, but you know, we're talking 40 years later, you know, that we're kind of here now. So it's been something that a lot of folks have been really involved in. We've had some great citizen input and feedback throughout the process. We've had working groups made up of planning commissioners and citizens that have really been influential, and board of commissioners, Chairman Rafolski has been part of that as well, really influential on creating these ordinances. So really appreciative of everyone's help on those. And so we're really at a stage now where we have a draft zoning ordinance, draft subdivision regulations that have been put out to the public for their review. They are available on our website, and so anyone can check those out. We also have hard copies here in our office if someone would like to come in and sit and review it here in our office. That's also an option. And we're pretty excited that we have a few town halls that we're planning starting next week and then into January. And our goal with those is really to educate the public on these drafts, hit some of the key changes between the current ordinances and our drafts, and allow public comment, answer questions. We're going to have staff available to help with any specific questions that anyone might have.
That's great. Yeah, perfect timing. Like Commissioner Rafolski said, like having these town halls right as this stuff is being presented is a great time for conversation. I think you've mentioned at one time these town halls are kind of, it's nice to be social and to kind of really have a more casual environment to kind of ask questions, which is so nice. What do you think?
You know, Avery, there's a popular belief by some people that we're out to change the world with these ordinances. Well, the things we were doing in 1960, even 1980, we're not doing now. You know, the properties have evolved. You know, my understanding is now that whatever gen it is, they don't want a big yard. They want a small yard. So, you know, when people come in and want to downsize zoning or change it, everybody gets all up in arms. Well, you know, that might be the way of the future.
That's a good point.
Yeah. You know, and this has been going since 2018.
Yeah, end of 2018.
It started in 2018. We're in 2025. I mean, either we do it or we don't do it. I think we're at a good point now. And this Board of Commissioners, if we come across something that's egregious to somebody, we'll look at it. If it needs changing, we're going to change it. It's an ordinance and it is the rule. It basically is the law, but you have an opportunity to fix things that you find that aren't correct. And that's what I want the public to know. And we do want to hear from anybody that's got, but you know, we don't want the same old, well, we don't want to do it that way. You know, you've got to think forward.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what you were saying. This is such a great team. This is a perfect time to rewrite the ordinances because there is such a strong team in place and everybody is forward thinking. So it's a great time and it's about time, right?
It is.
Yeah. Good. My question is every ordinance really complicated and needs to be rewritten from top to bottom, or is it more of like a tweak, like one thing that needs to change from each ordinance?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we, you know, since as Chairman mentioned, you know, we've been underway for a number of years, and it has had some definitely different iterations. So there were some changes that had been made on some drafts in early years that has you know, ebbed and flowed and kind of changed over time. So there are some aspects of our ordinances that we're not changing a lot. Like for example, like landscape buffers that we have for commercial projects and multifamily projects, that's largely staying the same. There's a few tweaks to those, but those are largely the same because it's been working. It's a little bit newer ordinance. It's not one of those that's from the 1960s, so it's newer. We didn't find that there was a lot that we needed to change. Versus there's other ordinances that over the years we found that you know, either our ordinances weren't clear or really just didn't deal with it. I mean, something that we you know, see a lot of homeowners wanting to do, property owners wanting to do, is have an accessory dwelling unit on their property. For example, you know, we see that for a variety of reasons. You know, some folks may want to do that as a short-term rental, but then there's many others that have a family member, a child coming home from college, or an elderly family member that will be living with them, and they would like them to be living on their property. Our ordinance didn't deal with having a separate accessory dwelling unit. So what we've created here is a whole section that would regulate that, have standards in place on where those could be allowed, how large they can be, and just some different standards that we would be able to administer as our staff and be able to communicate clearly to property owners about what they can and can do on their property. So it's really a lot of what we've tried to do in some of the sections that may not have changed a lot. We've really tried to clarify those regulations so that so really the people in our community that are coming here or living here, developing, you know, understand what the regulations are, and it's not going to be a gray area, a mystery of what they may find when they submit their permit. You know, they will know up front, and that our staff can be clearly, you know, communicating to them as well.
Yeah, and mainly that was done because before you had to it had to be connected to the
Right.
first structure.
Mm-hmm.
Now it doesn't have to be, but it's also limited. You can't build another 3-bedroom mother-in-law suite and then rent it out for a VRBO. You know, it's 1 bedroom, 1 or 2 bedrooms. It's a small footprint, but you know, as I get older, which I'm getting older, you know, one day I'd rather live if I've got my house and I've got an in-law suite with it, and my daughter wanted to move in my house to take care of us older folks, you know, that was the point to me that really made a difference there.
Yeah,
some people have the rules different ways, but
yeah, I like what you're saying. And as Stephanie said too, things are changing, and you said too, the footprints are changing, and needs are changing, and the way families live changing, all of it. So we don't need a huge yard with, you know, not being allowed to build a small 1-bedroom for our aging parents or whatever. What we need is maybe a smaller footprint where that can actually be on one relatively good sized lot, so yes, I see what you're saying. And people talk about these things and then you see these things change, but to put it in writing is fantastic. So congratulations on finally, having these things written and ready to present to the public.
Well, there were so many people that wanted to do something like this, and their hands were tied; they couldn't.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest reason that one was brought in. We've got some others. We've really updated what we had, but we've changed things that for one thing, we sent it off for legal review, and it took 4 or 5 months, and we didn't think it was going to take that long.
Mm.
So, it seems like every step of the way we've had something slow us down or move the needle farther out. But I think right now it may not be perfect, and I'll be the first to admit that, but you got to start somewhere.
That's right. Exactly. I like that attitude. Yeah. So present it, and then would you make some other changes depending on the feedback you get? Is the idea, or is it kind of set?
I think Stephanie can answer this as well as I can. But when we get the public comments back,
Mm-hmm.
if they make sense, if it's something that really we've looked at and we didn't look at that hard enough, we'll change that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of this, like they want to go from a single family. If you go out in West Glynn, there's no water and sewer, so you need 1 acre now to build on with a septic tank and a well. You can get away with it in an established subdivision, but a new, like if you got an acre out off of 99, you have to have a full acre. A half acre won't work.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to incorporate that kind of stuff in, but there's a group that wants that to be on 5 acres, and you're taking away too much land for future building. And look, I'm not a big let's pack the county with houses, but it takes tax base. It takes, if you want roads and sidewalks and grocery stores, you got to have people.
That's right. Right. Yeah. I think that's reasonable. A 1 acre, you have to have 1 acre. That sounds reasonable to me.
Well,
that's a pretty big.
That's a state law now. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay. What else about the ordinances or planning and zoning that y'all want to touch on?
Yeah, I think as Chairman said, it's not a perfect document now. We'll definitely be making further changes. And then the other aspect too that we plan to do is once the county does adopt the new ordinances, we do plan to bring them back basically every 6 months for could be a couple years. Yeah, because we will find once we're really administering the new ordinance, we'll find that there's maybe something that we looked good in writing, but then in reality it ended up not being something that's reasonable. So we're ready to kind of bring a host of changes back to our planning commissions and our boards to review every 6 months or so. So that's definitely
that's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and we also rely heavily upon them in redoing these ordinances, because I don't deal with it every day. Stephanie does. So when there was a question about something, Stephanie, what do you think? So, and they face the battles every day. There's people that I want to do this, can't do that. Mm-hmm. Well, we want to find a way you can do it.
Right. So, yes, you're making it user-friendly for everybody, user-friendly and accessible to all and doable. I mean, now you're listening to what they're saying and you're writing these ordinances according to what the issues are. So that's great.
Well, and really and truly, and she can tell you this, if somebody comes to you wanting to do something and it's something that's not in the books, mm-hmm. their hands are tied. Mm. They have to live by the ordinance, correct? So this way, we've got their input. We've got the input from some architects, from surveyor, from general public. All those folks were in that working group. And, you start reading that document, it'll put you to sleep. It's 200 more pages. and I've been through it, and I remember some, but I don't remember it all. So all I can say is we've done the best we can do, and there's some that would like to throw it in the trash and start over. I don't see that. We spent too much time, staff time, the public, myself, the other guys that were on that group to just abandon it.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, a tweak here and there is one thing, but to redo is another. So I know it's been literally years worth of work and review, and then work and review. So yeah. Ooh, be good to get off your plate.
Yeah. Yes.
And I like the idea to send the message to the public, hey, these are going out, but they're going to be reviewed every 6 months. I think that should give everybody, it's like a probational period, right? Like,
Right.
so that should give people peace of mind.
And if something comes along in the interim, we can always look at it.
Yes.
Or no, you just can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like to say no, but sometimes you have to.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Okay. Anything else before we move on?
Yeah, no, just if I could just share the dates of the town hall meetings for the next month here. So next week it's going to be Monday Monday, December 8th from 6 to 8. That's going to be at the Pate Building here at 1725 Reynolds Street. And then we're going to have another one during the day on Wednesday, December 10th from 2 to 4, also at the Pate Building. And then we're going to move over to St. Simon's Island in January. January 12th, we're going to have a 2 to 4 o'clock session, and then a 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock session at the casino, room 108. And people can attend, just one of them is going to be a similar format, for each one of those. So they don't need to attend all. But we look forward to having that feedback. And then anyone who also wants to submit comments, we have an email address set up that's called zoningupdate@glyncounty-ga.gov. And they can submit their comments through that email address as well. So so we're excited to have feedback and people attend our town halls and learn more about it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for those dates. What was the date in January for the island?
Sure, January 12th.
12th. Okay. Awesome.
And then 2 sessions that day.
Two sessions on the same day. That
Oh,
way, and one's earlier in the day and the other one's later in the afternoon.
okay, great. Perfect. Wow. Well, you're certainly covering all your bases. I feel like
We're trying.
yes, you really are. So between this show, the town hall meetings, the Q&A, the QER, it's lots of opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. And I think since you mentioned the QER, other things that planning and zoning is working on too is we have been implementing our comprehensive plan. So we had our first QER for the comprehensive plan. We've been doing them for the performance measures, strategic plan, and SLOSS now for a couple of years. But we had our first one in November for our comprehensive plan. So we'll be doing a new comprehensive plan in 2028. But until then, we're going to be working on a lot of different action items and implementing those. And that has been a real community effort as well. We have a lot of county staff, different agencies and organizations in the community that are all taking part in that. And that's something that is also ongoing in our department.
What we might add to that is the last time the comp plan was due, would we start 3 months, 6 months before it was due? We've been proactive working on it all along before it'll be due the next time.
Okay, right. Oh, good. Very comprehensive.
It is.
Yeah.
Avery, I'm going to take a moment to brag on Public Works. We're doing a lot of ditch cleaning and a lot of, I think you can look around the county and tell we're actually working harder at what we do.
Absolutely.
The roadways where we've made improvements, they were needed. We've got road improvements coming to St. Simon's. I can't tell you when, but they're coming.
That's great.
So that's kind of like the update. But all of the county seems to run really well, and I want to brag on them all too.
Yes, yes. This is a great chance to do that because because Team Glynn is every single department, the commissioners, of course, Mr. Fallon, and everybody in between that is just doing a great job, all sort of in sync and in a positive way to really make a great Team Glynn, which ultimately makes a fantastic community. So we're very thankful.
What was the old saying? There's no I in team.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah. So that's how we feel. Every time we do these shows, we learn so many good things. And now you have the new website. So I guess that's where people would go. And do they click on ordinances or click on planning and zoning? And how do they get to the ordinances?
Yeah, absolutely. So if they go to the main page of the county website, they can click under the government departments, planning and zoning, to get to the ordinances to review. And then there's also a link to that zoning update email address to send comments. We did a media release, and so under the news media releases, there's also an opportunity to go through that to get to the ordinances as well.
Okay, great.
I will brag on the website update. Before I had to dig around to try to find out where I was going. Now it's a lot easier. It's more user friendly.
Yes,
especially for this user.
For that user, yeah. For you, yeah, exactly. It is more user friendly, and it looks great, and it's very clean at the same time. And yeah, everything's streamlined, I feel. Good. Okay, well, let's just touch on before I let you go. Commissioner Rafolski, you are you're not going to do for re-election, so
no, not until 28.
Okay, but
I was just re-elected last year.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, anything you want to talk about? Just other than the ordinances that jump out as kind of a year-end wrap-up this year.
I do remember something.
Okay.
If you haven't visited Pier Village, go see the lights.
Yes. Okay.
Because we had the tree lighting Tuesday night, and the guy that did it did an excellent job. Public Works assisted, but Pier Village rivals Jekyll to me now.
Oh wow. Okay.
And even I rolled through the city the other night. Theirs looks really nice.
Theirs looks good too. Yes.
We're trying to catch St. Augustine in the night of lights.
Yes. Well, we should just start stringing them from the city all the way to the village, and then that would be super cool.
That would be.
Yeah, that would be
really
a long run across that causeway.
Yeah. That's a big string of lights, right? A
Yes,
lot of bulbs. Well, this has been fun, and I'm so glad to see y'all, and wonderful update on ordinances, the town halls, all the fun lights and the festivities coming up, and we just hope that you have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Same to you, dear.
Same to you. Thank you so much.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much. You too. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, once again, it was a great year for 2025, Avery. We'll see you in 2026. And again, on behalf of all the commissioners and everybody here at Glynn County, just want to wish you a great Christmas. Want to wish everybody in the community a great Christmas, great holiday season, and a happy New Year. And we'll see you in January.
Thank you. You too. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.